I think we can look all around us and see events, see catastrophic things happening, collapse, chaos, and it kind of makes us worry. Well, all those things we tend to see from afar. Unless you're from that area, it doesn't tend to affect you. Well, today we're going to be talking about something that affects all of us, and it's our food. Something that just, quote unquote, happened based on an outbreak in a certain area to cows. Deals with the food system, deals with the way that we can provide goods for people. Let's talk about today, which is going to make most likely another shortage, or make at least for the price of things to go up even more. Let's jump into it. Today's video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. I thought I was going to be able to be outside, but it is crazy raining here in South Mississippi, which we need it. It's great for our gardens, but I'm in the truck today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. It does help us stay in the algorithm, and it also tells YouTube that this content should be shared. And if you can, please share it, comment below, tell us what you think about this content, because our goal is to grow together to build a wiser, more common sense approach to our families as we live in this crazy world. Now, what are we talking about today? A new report from Associated Press saying dairy cattle in Texas and Kansas have tested positive for the bird flu. So now we're seeing it migrate from birds, which they were able to basically take off and kill several million birds just a few years ago, which hurt the egg industry and hurt the chicken industry. Now we're seeing it amongst dairy cattle. Dairy cattle, again, think about it, raw material dairy milk provides for so many different food groups and food items. It's a staple. So let's see what they're saying here. Milk from dairy cows in Texas and Kansas have tested positive for bird flu, says the U.S. officials. The illness has also been reported in older dairy cows in some states such as New Mexico. The symptoms include decreased lactation, which means you're dropping the fact of milk production, and low appetite. It comes a week after officials in Minnesota announced that goats on a farm where they had an outbreak of bird flu among poultry were diagnosed with this virus. Now again, I always say, we've not heard of things like the avian flu, the chicken flu, the pig flu, all these other flus until the last few years. And all of a sudden now we're seeing it jump from species. So are we next? I always think, are we going to get this avian flu or this bird flu or this chicken flu? And for the longest, they've always said, no, it is not deadly, it's not dangerous, it's not a worry for humans. Well, now we're seeing it jump species to goats and to now dairy cattle. It's going to affect our food, but what more can it affect as it grows, as it mutates? Are we next? This is believed to be the first time bird flu, also known as pathogenic avian influenza, was found in U.S. livestock. The commercial milk supply is safe, says the U.S. Department of Agriculture. However, it will lower some of the production over the coming weeks. Dairies are required to only allow milk from healthy animals to enter the food supply and milk from sick animals to be diverted or destroyed, which we would hope for. You know, we want safety. Remember, because people are not raising their own milk, their own dairy, their own meat off farm. But the overregulation where it hurts the farmer and helps the big ag or the commercial producer or the grocery stores, of course, I don't agree with. Pasteurization also kills viruses and other bacteria, which also kills the good stuff too. So it can be sold in commerce. Experts say livestock will recover on their own. That's different from the bird flu outbreaks in poultry, which necessitated killing loads of flocks to get rid of the virus. Now the question is, it didn't get rid of the virus. We say it got rid of the virus. We killed multiple millions of birds, but however, we're still seeing it spread among livestock. So the next question is, right now they're saying, oh, it's nothing to worry about. The cows will heal up on their own. Yeah, we'll see a little decrease, but we will be okay. The question then comes down to, are they going to be able to use this and say, well, it has mutated. Now it's looking like we're going to have to do something about the cattle. Since 2022, outbreaks have led to the loss of 80 million birds in the U.S. commercial flock. 80 million birds they have taken out. Based on the findings in Texas, officials think the cows got the virus from infected wild birds. Infected wild birds. Wild birds wouldn't typically get it unless they gotten it from a domesticated version, or these commercial grow houses that we see that are so dangerous for chickens to grow in, by the way. So far, the virus appears to be infecting about 10% of the lactating dairy cows of the affected herds. We're hoping to control it. This doesn't look like anything to worry about, but we will keep an eye on it. Another heavy dairy state, which is Iowa, is also monitoring the situation because they want to make sure it does not spread into Iowa. The dairy industry officials said that the producers have begun enhanced biosecurity efforts on their farms, including limiting amount of traffic in and out of properties to help restrict visits from other people unless they are essential because of the scariness of something tainting their milk, their product. That's what they sell. That's how they make their livelihood. Bird flu previously has been reported in 48 species. So the growing trend of things like viral loads mutating and growing into other species. Now, here's two things I want us to talk about. Are we going to see this mutate and cause more problems for other livestock, like we justified the 80 million birds getting killed? Are we going to see the spread to where it goes from several other mammals? You heard that. It went to tons of mammals. So are we the next mammal that it's going to go to? Because we're part of the mammalian family. So are we going to be the next one? And will it affect us any other way? Or is it going to be one of those things that, oh, it's just like the flu, we'll get over it? Well, man, we face, you know, massive loads of things going in our arms when we hear about our, you know, regular typical flu and other variants of that. What is it going to say that we're not going to see another one of those going in our arms because we're worried about now the bird flu or the avian flu spreading to humans? And they're saying it's not hurting the supply of dairy yet. It will limit in those farms, and, you know, I hope that we can control and contain it. Now let's talk about something else right quick. The beef industry as a whole. I don't know in your area, but if you priced livestock beef lately, now if you have cows, you better hold on to them, because if you sell them now, yes, you're going to make a major profit, but you're not going to be able to buy them back unless the cattle industry falls out. Some beef that we're typically selling, some steer, some beeves as they call them, typically sold for $1.50 to $2.50 per pound, basically at market or at feedlot. They're selling for anywhere from $3.50 to $5 now. You're doubling and tripling in price. So right now you're not going to feel that price at the supermarket yet. But in the next coming probably 6 to 12 months, you're going to start seeing an increase in beef prices. Now we've seen some, and we've talked about this, over 22% over the last 3 years. But this is how they control the market, because if it's just like what we talked about before. They keep saying, you know, we're going to get people off beef, and people are like, oh no, you're not going to take our steak away. Well, when steaks are $50 and $60 a pound, you might rethink that. When ground beef is $10 a pound, you may rethink that. And so therefore, that's why we always encourage you to buy local, buy from a local farm, no matter what you're purchasing, if it be hog, pork, if it be dairy, if it be beef, if it be chicken. If you can purchase that from a local provider, please do that. If it's a local convenience store or a local grocer, yes, that's okay, support them. But try to buy your food local, because what happens is this broken food system based on the fact of no one's growing food anymore, so therefore they're putting all these animals in one tight space. It's making animals sick, and all of a sudden that sickness is either going to travel to you, or they're going to quote unquote treat the animal, and that will go into you. Did you see Chick-fil-A came out this week and said they will no longer sell non-antibiotic chicken? Meaning they're going to sell chicken just like all the other chicken providers. So what I'm saying is, the more that we see our food system broke, the more we see our food system tainted to where now they have to be treated, the more those chemicals, those antibiotics, those bad things are going to get into you and your food system, which is going to cause for your immunity to go down. We talked to the owner of Azure Standard while we were at Okie. And he made comments about the fact of what they're spraying their crops in, and not them, but for the general public, what most of these farms are spraying their crops in. And what it's doing, it's going to hinder their growth and their immunity of the plant. Well, that growth and that immunity, that we're now eating that plant because we think it's holistic, it's great, and it's from a garden, we're actually eating the same things that's going to hinder our immunity and our growth as a human. That's going to hinder men and women. So we have a broken food system, and the more we depend on bigger growers and big ag to tell us that this is going to be okay for us, the more treatment they need, to the less healthy that we all will be. Especially because we'll be moved to either eating immunized animals that's been treated, or junk that's put in a box that's been preserved for years and years and years on your shelf that's actually got all these chemicals in it. So the problem is not dairy cattle. The problem is not just the avian flu. The problem is not just, well, you know, this farm will be controlled. It's the fact that our whole food system is needing revamping, and that comes back down to the local farmers. When we see that there is no farmers growing food like they were because of all the regulations, all the struggles they're having, just like the fact of that beef is costing the way it costs, it's hard to make it. So therefore, if they can't make it, they go out of business. The average farmer is almost 60 years old. So most of them are saying, you know what, I can't fight this battle anymore. I'm just going to retire. I'm just going to sell out. And then what happens? We lose those local farms. It goes to big ag only, which is completely listening to everything that the government says. So therefore our system is fully regulated and fully really in control by our government. And that's what's scary. Should we be worried about the flu getting into the cattle? I think there's something bigger here. We should be worried about all the stuff that's going to have to treat these animals, because ultimately we're going to keep on seeing our food system problems. I mean, think about it. Just these last few weeks, we've heard that a major cicada issue is coming into some of the heaviest food areas in America. That's going to break the food system. So I challenge you, start growing your own food. If it's growing seeds from places like Survival Garden Seeds that tell you how to keep your seeds, or if it's buying local beef or pork from a local provider, you're helping them. You're supporting their family. They're supporting your family with goods. And ultimately, that is the food system we need to go back to. Comment below. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about this bird flu now going to other mammals, especially livestock. Are we next? Is it going to hurt our production on milk or dairy or goats or whatever it may be? Is this something you're worried about on your farm? Are you treating your animals? I don't personally, but let me know your thoughts. This could actually harm some homesteaders as well. Guys, thank you for watching. We appreciate you so very much for spending your days with us. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.